What do you do when you can't RV? The only logical choice is van life with a child and a dog.
What could go wrong?
Here are 9 pros and cons to van life compared to full-time RV living in a 40-foot fifth wheel.
Welcome back to the RV Odd Couple. My name is John.
And I'm Mercedes. We RV, or now we van life, in pursuit of freedom, independence, and adventure.
Because life is so short, guys.
It is.
And first off, we want to thank the RV Odd Squad for the outpouring of love, support, and prayers that we got from the last video that we shot. I mean, we shot that video one day after getting the news from the doctor of the challenge that we had in front of us. And we still haven't completely responded to everybody, but we are working on it. But you know what? Sometimes blessings come in disguise, right? We love van life.
Yeah. We want to buy a van.
Mercedes and I had been stuck in the same location for 3 months.
So first off, we accidentally booked a trip in the Keys, okay? John thought we were going to stay at Longboat Key, which is very close to Sarasota.
I booked this 6 weeks ago thinking I was booking Longboat Key, and it ended up that we booked
Long Key
out in Key West, which is 4.5 hours away.
We've been talking to RVShare. We wanted to rent an RV. Knowing what we know now after having owned 2 RVs, we're firm believers in try before you buy, rent before you buy, especially for us not ever having RV'd before. What we did was really risky. The cost of renting an RV and trying it out is so much better.
It is, and we saw an incredible opportunity here to share a new experience, right?
Yeah.
We never share experiences we don't have.
Yeah, we can't tell you to rent if we haven't rented ourselves.
Yeah, and so we looked at Class A's, we looked at Class B's, we looked at Class C's.
So we're like, let's try something like really different. Let's really push ourselves. Let's get uncomfortable. Because y'all know we're glampers. We're total glampers. So we decided, okay, we're going to be a little uncomfortable, but let's do it.
We decided to try a van, right?
Yeah.
We wanted to be nimble and agile and be able to just hit as many spots as we possibly could, and that's exactly what we did. We jumped onto RVShare, we started looking for rigs, and we fell in love with this beautiful Winnebago Travato that is a 2020. It's loaded with everything, and we said, hey, let's go ahead and try that. We could go to beaches, we can park anywhere, we can get into all the state parks. Let's try a brand new experience and see how it goes.
Yeah, oh boy, did it go. I mean, John wrestled an alligator and nearly lost his life.
Didn't quite wrestle an alligator, but I thought it was a dead alligator. I thought one of the locals kind of had put like a stuffed alligator out next to the river. It didn't look real, and sure enough, I walked up really close to it. It was real.
Yeah. I mean, and then the wildlife too that we saw. We can't count the wildlife. And here's another thing that happened that we didn't expect. The things that we did that ended up costing the most money were not the fun things.
Yeah. The best days we had cost us $5 and $6. State parks in Florida are absolutely gorgeous. We're able to hit 4 state parks.
5 state parks.
5 state parks.
And 1 national forest.
1 national forest. We went down into Big Cypress out in the middle of nowhere. We could have never taken our fifth wheel Piper out in that area. We got to one spot and it said last chance to turn around, and Mercedes started freaking out.
I wanted to turn around. Like when the sign says turn around, like I'm thinking you should turn around.
And I'm thinking I want to know why they want us to turn around. There was alligator warnings. It was in the middle of a swamp. It was dirt roads. It was bumpy, but it was exciting. That's the adventure I was looking for.
And it wasn't what I expected. Okay, it wasn't the kind of forest that I expected. I really thought it was going to be different. The Keys weren't what I expected either. I mean, you really have to visit these places to see what they're like, because you take one picture and put that in your head and think that's what it's like, all of it, and couldn't be further from the truth.
We got to boondock with chickens.
No, he took so much footage of chickens. We're going to spare you the hours and hours of chasing chickens.
A rooster.
That's a rooster. What does a rooster do?
That's a rooster.
He was legit chasing all the chickens, like, check out this chicken, check out that chicken.
We decided that it was time for our family just to relax and
play.
Enjoy. There's something about the ocean and sand on your toes that fixes up your soul. God's nature is absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
We fell in love with van life, guys. It's absolutely amazing. And at first it was a little tight and tricky. Remember, it's us, the 4-year-old, and a dog.
Yeah.
The first couple days, we were tripping over each other. But by the end of it, by the end of that week, we were actually moving around pretty comfortably. So we love it. We love the agility. We love the life. We love being able to move.
The other exciting thing about van life is I was finally able to drive the RV.
It was so cool. I mean, I played with Mercedes a little bit. Get up to speed getting out there, though, and then start looking at your rearview mirror right now for the left lane.
I hear you, baby. But
you gotta merge, babe. I'm just saying.
Can you stop talking, please?
Just check your lane. Thank you. Well, you're doing a really good job. Just keep two hands on the steering wheel. No one, okay?
Make me a
Pay
sandwich.
attention. Put 2 hands on the steering wheel.
Make me a sandwich.
2 hands on the steering wheel. I'll make
me a sandwich.
Can I get a ride?
No. He was so bad.
Well, we played with each other. Mercedes drove, and I was able to sit in the back seat, play and dance with Sage while Mama drove.
Here are 9 pros and cons to van life compared to full-time RV living in a 40-foot fifth wheel. Number 1 thing that we did not like about van life, you hear everything shaking as you're driving down the road. Yeah, she's buckled. But you're going slow and listen to all of the noise. Now, John kind of likes being able to hear it in the sense that he knows what's shaking and rattling.
Yeah.
I prefer not to hear it. I'm thinking out of sight, out of mind. I'd rather not know what's happening to all my stuff. The next con of van life versus RVing. See, in a typical van, like all the windows are exposed. You can see everything. It's like driving a car, kind of.
Yep.
Well, when it's a van to live in, you have a lot less windows, so you're a little blind in certain spots.
Yeah, and it didn't really bother me that much as it bothered Mercedes. Driving this is a lot easier, actually.
Well, when I was driving the van, I kept looking at the rearview mirror trying to see what was behind me, and I couldn't. For me, I noticed it. The third con to van life versus RVing is that you think you can only have the bare necessities in a 40-foot RV. No, you can only have the bare necessities in a 21-foot van. I'm having a hard time narrowing down our clothes. It's a little bit easier with John.
Everything that you have has to be useful.
Better serve a purpose or it's out.
It's out.
The next con to van life versus RV living is that you have to do the laundromat. You see, our 40-foot fifth wheel has a 2-in-1 washer dryer, which I absolutely love. But I noticed in the van that the dirty clothes were piling up, and we've never really used a laundromat in our whole RVing experience. So if we were to do van life, we would have to incorporate the laundromat in order to do this longer term. Number 5, the van kind of drives like a boat in the wind.
It does. It does. And you know, that's something, I've driven vans before, but maybe it's because these are top heavy and they sit so high up off the ground so that you can stand around and walk inside of them. But the day we left, it was 20 to 25 mile an hour gusts, and when I get out on the highway, that thing was really moving around like a boat.
The other thing you should know about van life versus RVing is that making the bed, at least with the RV, you get 2 people, you help, it's very quick and easy. But with the van, only one person can make the bed, and it is not easy. I mean, just you have this much space to get into the bed, and the bed is completely surrounded by walls. Number 7, the next con about van life versus RV living is that it's not necessarily cheaper. I mean, you would think half the size, half the cost, right? Usually you pay less for a smaller sandwich than a bigger sandwich. Well, the same doesn't go for RVs.
I'm guessing it was around 12 miles per gallon. This is not a diesel like my dually is, and so the cost really wasn't that different.
All right, the next thing about van life that you should be aware of if you're considering it is the judgment. We stayed at a pretty nice RV park that was over $100 a night.
Yeah, $150.
And we just kind of, people were kind of, you know, looking at us with their noses up in the air. So that was something I did notice, which is so ironic because this van costs just as much, if not more, than some of their fifth wheels.
It's true. These things are 150 grand for one of these new, and I was a little bit surprised at the judgment, but I did feel it.
And the final con, I promise we'll get to the pros, of van life.
It's a little bit tight. And
a lot of bit tight.
It's a lot of bit tight. So I really think that van life is perfect for 1 or 2 people. I mean, if we were single or we were just a married couple, this is perfect. Right, but one of the cool things is I actually took my desktop computer with me. I set it up in the back of the rig outside. There's an outside receptacle, 20 amp receptacle, and I was able to do my work. So my office was outside. But what's also funny is that when Mercedes and I were in love, it was wonderful being so tight and rubbing up against each other.
Yeah, he
and it was
didn't
nice.
mind it.
But when we were frustrated with each other, it was like, get out of my way.
That's true. That's true. But don't worry, Vanlife has a lot of good things to it.
Yeah,
and
we loved it.
Surprising good things that we didn't expect. So here we go. Number one, the biggest pro to Vanlife, the nimbleness.
The nimbleness, man. You can get into anything. We were able to take car parking spots that were right up against the ocean, open up the back doors, and just let that breeze come right through. Listen to that ocean. It was so phenomenal, guys. I've really never experienced anything quite like that. Having everything we needed with us and being able to get a nice location and just sit there all day and enjoy nature.
Yeah, and along with that, there was no height restriction, so we weren't worried about whether or not we could drive on any road. We didn't need any special parking spots, which was phenomenal.
Yep.
We could pretty much go anywhere that a car could.
Yep.
But unlike doing a day trip in the truck, we had everything we need. So we needed a shower, we needed a nap, we needed to cook something.
It's amazing. All we really need is fuel and water, and we could disappear off the face of the earth for a month if we wanted to.
The next pro to van life versus full-time RV living is that, at least in this situation, the wife can drive.
This was a big pro, guys, because for the past 15 months,
I
do all the driving, and some of those days were pretty darn long. It certainly would have been nice to have Mercedes, and we're working towards that.
He was the worst backseat driver ever. No, I'm serious. Like, when I say something, it's because, like, hey, we really need to stop. You were just like, go slow.
I was a nervous wreck, baby. You haven't driven in 15 months. It was windy out, so
Yeah,
the thing was all over the road, and she uses her brakes on the highway.
No, yeah, because you're screaming like something's there. I'm thinking, like, what is it? I don't see it. Am I going to hit a deer or something? My goodness. The next pro to van life versus RV living is the refreshing simplicity. Believe it or not, our lives have gotten complicated in a 40-foot fifth wheel. The van, super simple.
If you want to practice minimalism, a van is the way to do it. You only can take what you absolutely need, the necessities. The other pro that I loved about this is from the time that Mike showed us around and showed us where everything was, this rig came with everything that we needed except for clothes and food.
The next pro to van life that I absolutely loved was being able to go to the grocery store and just completely unpack all of the groceries in the parking lot.
I was pretty blown away because that made her so happy.
It was amazing, as opposed to like lugging the groceries from the store to the truck, to the RV, then putting them away in the RV.
Yeah.
You know, within 20 minutes, everything was like all put away perfect. It
Pulled
was
into the
so
grocery
nice.
store, went and got what we needed. We came out. Mercedes was so happy putting everything away.
It was
She
the
turned
best.
the music on. She's dancing, putting stuff away.
It was the
And
best.
so that when we're done shopping, we were literally done shopping.
Yeah, what a concept. The other pro to van life is that it's way easier to keep a small space cool or hot.
It is, yeah. This unit has one AC system, and it also runs the Trumer heating system. This system does all the work for you. There's not a lot of thinking you need to do. The other nice thing about this is that we were near the ocean the entire time for about 4 days. So all we did was we cracked the windows. We could hear the waves crashing, that smell of the ocean blowing through the nice breeze. Man, did we get some good night's sleep in this thing.
The next pro is that the driving is so much less stressful. I mean, number one, I normally don't drive the fifth wheel, right?
No.
But also, I mean, just you were so much less stressed, because a 5-hour trip in a car versus a 5-hour trip towing a 40-foot fifth wheel versus a 5-hour trip in a van.
Right.
Totally different experiences. And the van was so much less stressful. It was more like the car, I think.
I really enjoyed the driving. It was literally like going out on a Sunday drive, but having everything with you, minus the stress of, you know, the length, the height, all the things you have to worry about when it comes to other drivers. It was just so much more relaxing.
Number 7, cheaper tolls.
Yeah, man.
The tolls were so much less money.
Yeah, the tolls were really cheap.
Oh my gosh, when we take a toll with the fifth wheel, we're always bracing ourselves because we were like counting wheels and axles, and it was so much nicer in a van.
The best thing about van life is being able to really explore deep in an area and really having no obstructions whatsoever. You can go anywhere you want to go. This isn't even considered an RV, so we would go into state parks and they'd have 3 or 4 RV spots that were long, 27 feet, but then they'd have tons of car spots. And with the van, this is considered a car, so we can park anywhere.
We can't stop on a dime's notice in the RV, but with the van, we could. So we could go deeper. If we wanted to see a city, I don't even want to do city driving with the fifth wheel.
Right.
But with the van, you can go deep, whether it's deep city driving or whether it's deep like off-roading.
When you have a big rig like we do, you have to plan everything.
Yeah.
You can't just pull off the side of the road to go to a local gas station or a souvenir shop.
Our next pro to van life was the setup and tear down. It was slightly easier.
We basically slept there at night, and in the morning we had a plan to go to this state park or that state park or this national park. We would unplug the umbilical cords, my power, my sewer, just kind of leave it there and take off. When we got home, literally parking was no issue. Just park the van, right? Within 1 to 2 minutes tops, I would have everything connected and everything was recharged. Setup usually takes me 5 to 10 minutes with the fifth wheel. Tear down takes a lot longer because I'm double checking myself constantly.
A couple things though with van living is that you really are dependent upon the outdoor space to make the van seem bigger. So if there's bad weather, van living is going to be way less enjoyable than when there's good weather and you can actually spend the time outside. The other piece is that it really put everything into perspective as far as what possessions we really use versus what we don't use. I realized that even in the fifth wheel, despite all the downsizing we've done, I still have a lot of redundancies there and a lot of things that I don't need. Like if you're not using it every day, you don't need it.
You don't need it.
And so that really put it in perspective. And so after this van life experience, I crave more simplicity and I crave going even smaller. As soon as you made a mess, you had to clean it up immediately afterwards,
right?
Because you cannot let these things get cluttered.
No.
Luckily, it only takes like 10 minutes to clean it.
Because clutter is the biggest enemy of small living. We would never live in a van with Sage and the dog.
Full time.
The four of us, too much. It's just too much. But we are actually doing more research. Having the fifth wheel and the van would give us so many more options.
It's okay to be a little uncomfortable and a little squished in short term because the reward you get from being able to explore far exceeds it.
Right, the sky's the limit where we're at, so our sticks and bricks would become Piper, right? Our fifth wheel, that would be our sticks and bricks. We could move that every 3-4 months, but then have the support vehicle, a van, to be able to go out and really adventure, dig in and go places and share experiences that no one else can.
We have so much more information that we want to share with you about van life, about our van trip to the Florida Keys, about renting the van that we took to the Florida Keys.
We had such an amazing week, guys. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure that you hit your notifications for the next few weeks. We're going to be putting all the videos that we've done in van life into this playlist.
Yeah, so check that out.